Hi, welcome to the 42 review. I'm Christian Strain. Mike's not here, so it's just me, but I'm doing a review of the Lions of Lydia. I was a backer for that Kickstarter, so when I got the stuff in, I've played twice now, and uh, that apparently gives me license to review it. So I have a little method. If you haven't seen my other review, this is only my second one here, so let me know what you think of the method. Um, what I do is I look for a button. Here we go, clicking it. And what I do is I give it five different ratings and then an average rating at the end. So replayability, art and production, theme, mechanics, innovation. Replayability, I think you all know that basically is how likely am I to pull this off a shelf and want to play it again, right? Um, Art and production, for me, there's certainly a degree where you can overproduce a game. So some games may go up to a five, and then they start to overproduce them, and it'll start going back down to a four. So, or maybe even a three. I'll let you know if that's the case. Um, Theme. That's not just if I like the theme or not. That's if you actually feel the theme while playing. Even if I'm not a fan of the theme, I'm going to try to rate that basically off of how you feel the theme in there. And then mechanisms, that's how they all work together, how smooth it works. Do you have to keep looking at the rules, things like that. And then innovation is this a new feeling? Is this is there other games? Are there other games that I can play that also give me this feeling, or is this the only game that gives me this kind of experience, right? With that in mind, first my replayability rating for, oh, by the way, and I don't really teach the game, so there's other ways to see how to play the game, but I will talk about how it plays during these parts. So replayability, I give it a 3 out of 5. um, the reason why I don't give it higher is basically because I wouldn't say that this is exactly my uh, my favorite genre of games. The trading in ancient civilizations kind of thing. Um, so it's not something that I'm just like itching to play. At first, to be honest, I put a 2, and that was last night after my second play. And after thinking about it for a day, and before this, I reviewed it a little bit, and I decided to bump it up to a 3 because I have a game night tomorrow, and I was already thinking maybe I ought to bring this. And I was thinking about it after the game as well. Like I kind of want to try this, and that's replayability, right? It makes you want to bring it back to the table. So I bumped it up to a 3. Art and production goes up to a 4. It's a solid pieces. If you have the deluxe version that I got from the Kickstarter, and that is what this is based off of. There's metal coins in there. There's the wood bits are always fun, and then they have a little fountain piece that goes in the middle. You can see in the picture here. And the card stock and everything is really nice. The artwork's good. The graphic design is the only reason why I didn't bump it all the way up to a 5, because some of the icons are a little small to see across the table. That's a very nitpicky thing, but art and production is what I do in the industry, so I'm going to be nitpicky on these reviews on that. Theme, it's a 1. uh, these kind of games, they tend to be ones, right? You can slap any different kind of theme on there, and it plays the same. You're going to get the same experience. Now, to some people, especially people who would be attracted to games like this, theme doesn't matter. Or in instances of games like this, theme doesn't matter, and so you can just ignore this rating if you want. Um, I played with my partner Erin, and she doesn't care about theme, so she also ignored this while thinking about the way she would rate it. Mechanisms, to me, mechanisms in this game, everything flows very smoothly. You're either putting down a worker, like you're pulling a worker from a bag. You have 4 of them in there. You're putting down one worker, and then in one spot or another, and then you're picking up one, and it's that easy. But then they have all those like nice, nuanced challenges and questions in the middle there, right? Um, so it's very smooth, very easy to jump into, and they have a lot of. This picture shows different modules that are added to it, or expansions, I think they call it in the game. Um, and we played with all of them last night, almost all of them. One of them you can't play with all of them because on one side of a card is one, and if you flip it over, that's another one. So, um, but we played with all of them. Some of them are great, some of them are okay, and I think you could piecemeal it to your desired flavor. And they're not, it's like one paragraph and one piece is an expansion. That, for instance, that purple guy on the left there that you see in the picture, that's like I forget what they call him. He's like the chieftain or the king or something like that. And he just lets you get one extra resource when you go there and then you move them. Simple little expansions like that, but there's 8 of them in the game. So a lot to play with, well, adds to the replayability too, right? Then in innovation, I know there are other games where you place a worker, then pick up a worker, and just keep that rhythm up, right? But there aren't ones that really fit in this. This for me, and this is always subjective, of course. The whole thing is, but for me, this kind of sits between the medium to lightweight. It's not as light as Ticket to Ride or anything, but it's not as heavy as, let's say, Orleans. So although it's a little closer to there, I would say, if you're playing it right. Um, so yeah, so the reason why I did Innovation 4 though is because I haven't seen those kind of mechanics put together just in the same way. And again, last night I had it at a 3, and the more I started thinking about it, and I was like, well, there's just not any other game that I could pull out and it would give me exactly the same feel, right? This has a unique feel for it, so it gets a 3. And normally, the way I do the final rating, which is a 3.2 out of 5, is that I, tally all those together and then divide them by 5. Now, here's the thing, though: games like this, Euros, basically, if theme doesn't matter to you, if you just took out that part, then that rating would actually bump up to a 3.75. And I think that would be fair to do in this case because, these games just generally aren't built for heavy thematic feelings. So if this sounds like a game that you'd be interested, if you like Euros and mechanics and kind of like a medium to lightweight area and a new experience, give it a try. Thanks.